A very good evening, ma'am. Welcome to the platform of Let Us Lead. And I would like to tell our viewers that today we have a very special guest who has broken all the limits and all the boundaries of extraordinary. I mean, she is beyond extraordinary. So please welcome Dr. Radha Shankarnarayanan, ma'am, who is a mother, a psychotherapist, a hypnotherapist, and a soft skills trainer, an NLP coach, and a lot more to say about her. But I would like her to introduce herself.
Okay. Thank you so much, Priyanka, for this opportunity being given to me. And let me quickly introduce myself. I'm sure all of you know my name by now. And I did banking as my graduation and computer science in my post graduation. And but right now, pursuing my dream of changing the minds of people in the best positive way that is possible to me. And that's what I'm currently doing. And yes, my profession is being supported by my family, my husband, and my two children. And yes, I did work for IT companies for quite a long time, but then that did not interest me. So I shifted my career from IT to being a soft skill trainer, and I'm extremely satisfied at the moment.
Okay, ma'am. So as you said that you switched from IT industry to non-IT sector, and now you are serving in the education sector, basically. So, what was your initial education background, and why this shift?
Initial education background, as any normal human being, I also did my schooling 10, 12, and all that. And I was not that decisive enough. That's what I should say. So I wanted to do psychology right from the beginning. When I expressed my thought to my parents, they said, "Oh, no psychology, nothing. So what will you earn out of psychology?" So for them, education meant financial independence for their child. So that's what it meant for my parents. So they said, "You study banking and Bachelor of Bank Management." Okay, I had no choice but to study bank management. I did study for 3 years, and then I decided, okay, I will never work for a bank. I was forced to write BSRB exams, but I intentionally failed in the exam and escaped from working for a bank. So my parents knew that this girl is very adamant about. But one thing I was following from my childhood is I was very clear about what exactly I want and what exactly I don't want. And so I told my parents clearly, see, this banking is boring. I'm not going to work for a bank. But according to them, for a parent having a daughter, there are multiple worries. First is education, and then a job, and then wedding. So from education itself, I started giving them worries. Then they said, okay, let me put her into computer science classes. So in a private institution. Whether I studied computers or not, I met my husband there, and yes, so for that reason, I did start studying really well. I performed well in computers, so it was my own personal decision to pursue computer science and for post graduation. I did that, and okay, when I started studying, the worry about studies and job went away from my parents' mind. So, and I did work for IT companies for about 10 plus years, not too long, 10 plus years. And I satisfied their dream of their child being working for an IT company. And yes, I did work for Wipro Technologies, one of the top 3 IT companies of the country. So for many, working for Wipro Technologies is a dream come true, but for me, it happened just like that, without any big efforts. So that's how it is. And at one point of time, yes, after marriage, I had 2 children. And at one point of time, I thought, what am I doing? What am I running behind? I always wanted to put my family first. And at that time, my elder one was about 3 years, and my younger one was 1 year. No, not even 1 year. He was 6 months, and my elder was 2.5. So it was very difficult for us to take care of children and still work. So we put them in daycare initially. Okay, so I leave them in daycare and then go to office, come back, pick them up, come back home, cook for them, make them sleep. So that was a kind of a monotonous routine. Of course, yes, I was heavily paid in my IT job. No regrets about it. That was a wonderful pay that I was getting. But still, I was not so happy with the amount of money that I was getting. Because children were falling sick quite often. I was missing all their naughtiness that they were doing. So I only heard it from the daycare in charge. So I said, okay, no, this is not done. I have to decide what is important to me. So I took a sheet of paper. I listed down what are the things that are important to me. So always family first. So I thought I will quit. I just quit. So I didn't take any permission from anyone. I only informed my husband that I want to quit and take care of the family for quite a while, and then pursue my dreams. So he said, okay, fine. He was working for a bank too, so we wouldn't struggle for our living. So we were okay with that. We did quit. I did quit, and for a while, I thoroughly enjoyed playing with my children because they were too small. So I thoroughly enjoyed playing with my children. But then, for my nature, I cannot sit idle for more than 5 minutes. I don't know if that is a strength or my weakness, but not possible for me. I will keep myself busy. So that's how I am. So for a person like me of my nature, you know, playing with my children all day long started becoming a boring job. So then I thought, okay, now I need to upskill myself. So I took an 1 year time, and then I skilled myself with psychotherapy courses, hypnotherapy, neuro-linguistic programming, and I started reading a whole lot of books on self-development. So what I understood from all these courses and books, they were huge amount of treasure that were available in those courses and books. Then I thought, okay, why not I package it as a training program and offer it to people? And okay, initially the challenges were many when I wanted to shift from IT to my favorite job of doing training programs in changing minds. So the first challenge where I need to get my children independent because they were too small. I was doing everything for them. So when I was thinking about pursuing my dream, my younger one was only 1.5 and my elder was 3.5. That's not too big of a children. So I was doing everything. I was royally pampering them and spoiling them too. So I had to get them independent.
Two
So
young
one thing
children
I
at
did was
home.
I stopped pampering them.
Right. So priorities you
Sorry.
had to. I said two young children at home and your work, your dream work waiting for you. So the priorities were really difficult, and your management skills really helped, I guess.
That's true. It was very difficult, in fact. Okay, then to get my children independent, I had to stop pampering them. I didn't teach them how to do things. Instead, I stopped doing things for them. They learned it themselves. So when they got independent, they were quite proud of being independent. After all, boys. So they were very happy about being independent. So one stress out of my mind. Okay, the next challenge was to teach cooking for my husband. I taught all the recipes which my children will eat. So that's when my husband used to make fun. Okay, oh my God, I never knew you're this selfish. I taught cooking for him, and he started handling kitchen for quite a while. And fine, I started doing some training programs for a couple of hours initially, and then for 2-3 hours within Bangalore. Then started traveling to Chennai. Bangalore to Chennai isn't that too far, so it's hardly about 5-6 hours of travel. So I used to travel 2 nights, and then during the day I do training programs and come back quickly. So that's how I was doing. And once I understood that my children are quite comfortable and they have got used to my absence, then yes, I was quite comfortable about traveling across the country. And in the meanwhile, the challenges were like people were criticizing a lot that you are not a good wife, you are not a good mother. So I said, thank you so much. I'm not going to listen to you anymore because I have listened to people's criticisms enough. And I have been believing that they are right and I was wrong. And for me to understand that they are wrong and I was right, it took quite a while. So I had to go through a lot of stress and kind of a depression to understand that I have to ignore criticisms. So now I keep telling people, ignore criticisms. They are not going to help you at all. So I had to ignore a lot of criticisms. And yes, when it comes to the societal pressure, the society accepting a woman being enterprising, that's another challenge.
That's
Not many
actually
were.
right, ma'am. That's actually my next question. That how being a woman you faced, what challenges you
Oh my
faced, and
goodness.
what would you like to suggest young girls like us that how we can thrive?
Well, there were a lot of challenges. First, being for a woman, the physical phenomenal challenges. Month
Right.
on month, the phenomenal challenges are always there. We cannot ignore that. And at times, I cannot fix the training program accordingly. So I had to fix the training program and adjust myself accordingly. And initially, I was not knowing how to handle both the training program and my physical phenomenal things. So for me to get used to that, that took quite a while. And the next challenge was whenever I spoke to the clients, the training organizer had always been men. I don't know why women did not take up that job. The training organizer had always been men. So whenever during the phenomenal time, if I had to do a training program and make the training organizer understand that I need certain facilities around the training venue, because that was very difficult for them to understand. They didn't understand at all. So that was very difficult, very, very difficult. And the next part was um, for someone to accept that a woman being so enterprising, coming and teaching us, that became a lot of egoistic issue. Who is this lady to come and teach me? Why should I listen to her? I then I had to change my training approach to make them understand that I'm not going to teach them anything. Probably I'm only going to interact with them and learn from them. So I just changed the whole package of how I approach my participants. I completely changed it. So so that's where this NLP came in very, very handy.
Right.
That really helped
Right,
me a
ma'am.
lot in how to communicate. So it's all about my communication. There were
Right.
other challenges in sense. A lot of my friends and relatives around.
Hmm.
Friends were always encouraging. Relatives were always discouraging. So what I did was, I don't know if anybody else would dare to do that. I blocked all my relatives in my mobile phone.
Okay.
Mobile phone, WhatsApp, everything blocked.
Very
Blocked
daring
them.
move.
Uh, it's very daring move, and everybody knew that I have blocked, and people criticize for that also, but I don't care. I blocked all of them because one thing that I understood was I only have to surround myself with positive people, people who encourage me, people who make me to move forward. I don't
Right.
want anybody else around. So I had to cut a lot of toxic relationships and throw them out. And that was not easy. That was very, very difficult.
Hmm.
And at times when I felt overwhelmed, too many responsibilities, childcare, self care, home care, and there were a lot of things on my plate. At
Going
times
on
I
simultaneously, right?
felt very, very difficult, in terms of, I had a lot of self doubt. Will I be able to sustain this way? Will I really be able to go after my dreams and achieve? Why
So,
not I quit and just sit at home? My
ma'am, did these
goodness,
thoughts
lot of self
overwhelm you?
doubts.
Did they cause any anxiety? And did you feel
Oh, lot
self
of anxiety,
sabotaged? How did you overcome
lot
them,
of
ma'am?
anxiety. Oh my goodness, lot of anxiety. And at one point of time, I even told my husband, okay, I don't think I'm going to succeed in this kind of a dream. So let me quit and then probably sit at home. I can be a good wife and good mother. at one point of time, for a month, I just sat at home because I wasn't feeling so good. If I don't feel good, I cannot be energetic in front of participants. So I took a break of a month and sat at home, and I was reflecting on what is really important to me. What am I exactly doing? What is my goal? What are the problems that I have to face? What kind of people I need to help me out? And there were a lot of things that I wrote in a sheet of paper. So I started gaining clarity about what exactly I want. When I was clear about what exactly I want, then I never looked back. So fine, their challenges will always be there. Along the way, I learned this lesson. When you start going after your dreams, the road from where you are to where you want to be is never going to be easy. It's going to be very difficult with lot of humps, ups and downs and all that. You have to face them. It's not going to be easy at all. But
And you,
the other
ma'am,
thing
about
is, when I jumped into,
right.
tell
Yeah,
me,
ma'am.
no
You
problem, you were asking.
you had a certain quote about change also.
Yes, I'll come to that certainly. And when it comes to problems, what I understood was that I wasn't initially mentally prepared to face the problems. I didn't even know what kind of problems I have to face. So I just jumped into it and started taking action. So that was a major setback that I really faced. So now, when I talk about goal setting to people, I said, be aware of the problems that you may have to face. That will really help you. And the quote about the change that I always say is, I read that quote in one of the book, The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. He says, change is always difficult at the beginning, messy in the middle, but beautiful at the end. How true is that? You
And how
know,
beautifully said,
that's
ma'am.
very, very true. That's so true. So
Right.
that was very difficult change. But then now I'm thoroughly enjoying my profession. Absolutely no regrets of taking decision of quitting IT. Absolutely, I'm very happy now and quite satisfied. More than happiness, I'm very satisfied about what I'm doing because I'm bringing a lot of peace and happiness into others' lives. So that matters to me most. So the shift is absolutely wonderful. One of the best decision I have ever taken in my life.
Okay, ma'am. So you also recently set some world record, and I would like to hear the journey of that world record also. I'm sure the viewers,
Okay, that
the
was
listeners
in
would.
yeah,
Yeah, ma'am.
correct. So that was in visual art. I mean, in mandala art. How did I start this artwork? Again, that's altogether a journey from the scratch. From 2020 lockdown. So until 2020 March, I am generally a kind of person who used to travel like crazy. I mean, in a month, 20 to 25 days I used to travel, and 5 to 10 days at home. That's how it is. At times I have done this. I come back home in the afternoon, unpack, pack new clothes, and then leave in the evening, take late night flight, and then reach the next location. Sometimes I pack for 2 3 training programs altogether and then just finish travel in one round of a month and then come back home. So I have done all that. Now, this 2020 lockdown, what happened was kept a total full stop for my travel, you know. And again, it's like back to square one of I was feeling jobless. Of course, I was doing training programs online. That's a different story. But uh, the happiness and satisfaction of doing a classroom training program was not there at all. I was feeling quite depressed and fine, me being a therapist, okay, I thought I'll do therapy for myself. Then I was imagining, okay, if someone else with the same problem as mine is going to sit in front of me and ask me, what shall I do? What will I tell them? So that was a question that I asked myself. Then I came to a conclusion, okay, I need to pursue something that will keep me engaged, and I should also feel peaceful. So the one thing that can help me do that is something to do with colors. Colors have a lot of psychological effect. So something to do with colors. So I thought, okay, I'll start with embroidery first. So colorful threads, embroidery, and then I came across a mandala design. I didn't even know that it was a mandala, so I embroidered that particular design. I felt very happy. Then I researched about what kind of a design is that. Why am I feeling so
Effective.
peaceful when I stitch that particular design? I didn't know about it. So when I researched, I knew a lot of things about this mandala art, and I came to know that it is one of the oldest art form that was practiced in our country. It is still being practiced in a lot of temples. When you go to temples, you can see them. I didn't even know that it is a mandala design. So then I started drawing it. When I started drawing, and I'm basically kind of a visual person, so I just tend to take pictures and share it with my friends.
So
Probably
lockdown gave you
people,
a
yeah,
time to re-explore your artistic sides.
that's right. So people around were very encouraging. I think Radha, you're using using your time really well. And what happened? There was a time when me and my elder son went into a competition. Let's see who will finish this design first.
Wow.
And obviously, I finished. So I did express that happiness in WhatsApp to all my friends. So there was a person who asked me, are you practicing yourself to get into Limca Books of Records or Guinness Record? I said, that is a good idea. I never thought about it, but
Wow.
that seemed to be a good idea. Let me do something about it. And then when I looked at Limca books and Guinness books, the criteria were um, too high, too critical. So for me, initially to take up Limca books is going to be difficult. So I thought I'll do a smaller thing first, a private platform where I can perform something and create a record. So I did a smaller painting, and it's not too small. That's a 7 feet by 7 feet in size. So I did a painting, and then that became a biggest mandala art first, and then I did dot art, that is 7 feet by 9 feet. That is a part of India Book of Records 2022, and then I pursued for Limca Books of Record, but that's too huge in size. That's 625 square feet. With 625 square feet, people these days build a home. So I was supposed to, yeah, I was supposed to create a painting of that kind. So the challenge was not the materials. I was somehow able to procure all the materials, but the challenge was the space. So
Yeah.
I was roaming around the entire city, and but finally my children's school gave me the space required. What I actually wanted was 1,000 square feet, but what I received was 5,000 square feet space.
Wow.
So all the help was offered by the school, and the school management said we are very proud that if one of our parent is attempting a world record, so go ahead and do it. And I did attempt. I'm still awaiting the certificate from Limca Books. It may come anytime before 30th of November this year. So that was very difficult again. you know Again, lot of criticisms, lot of discouragement, saying, Radha, do you think you can really make it? Because there are a lot of visual arts students, fine arts people, not just students. There are professors who teach those students. They are artists themselves. There are lakhs and lakhs of artists around the world. Do you think you can really make it? I said, let me give a try. If I fail, that's okay, no problem. I'm not scared of failing. But later, there should not be in anything in my mind saying, if I would have tried, I would have made it. So I don't want that if in my mind. So I thought, okay, let me give a try. And I made it within just 12 days, no, 10 days time. I painted for 10 days, and every day I used to paint from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. 12 hours every day, and I hardly sit. 12 hours of standing, 7 a.m., and then to bending and painting.
My goodness.
That wasn't easy. So that was very, very difficult.
Right.
And after painting, I used to come and just crash at home and straight
Yeah.
sleep for 8 hours, get back and again paint. So I did that for 10 days.
It required
Then
all
somehow
your
I was able to
physical,
make it.
mental persistence, and obviously your hard work and dedication.
Oh, yes. I should say that, that was only because I was very clear about what exactly I want. So the another my own experience is that if you're very clear about, crystal clear about what exactly you want, everything else is going to be easy. Easy in the sense there will be challenges, but you will be able to
Oh,
manage those challenges too. That's what I meant.
right. Yeah, ma'am. So that was really a very inspiring journey. And what were the lessons that you learned along your journey and that you would suggest the students, the entrepreneurs?
Okay. Number one, the first thing is you need to be very clear about what exactly you want. And you also have to be clear about what kind of problems you will face. And when you're clear about the problems that you may have to face, then yes, half of the problem is already solved. And next, you need to be very clear about what kind of people you may require help. See, you cannot achieve anything as a single person. You will require help in every step of your journey. So if you maintain a good relationship with people, then yes, they would be willing to help you. So building relationships, building ethical and meaningful relationships is absolutely very important. And next, planning, to-do list, listing down the task, scheduling your task, prioritizing them, very, very important. See, according to me, all human beings are too good in planning, but where we generally lag behind is only in the execution part. That is practicing self-discipline. So I had to be self-disciplined, and I learned self-discipline very hard way because I was not self-disciplined, and I had a lot of tremendous amount of challenges. Then I had to slowly build self-discipline in me. Then yes, I could easily overcome those challenges. So being self-disciplined is extremely important. And next thing is listening. You just have to listen to people, whether what they say makes sense to you or doesn't make sense to you. That's a different story. You just have to listen to people. And I did that to a lot of people, and to all those whom I have listened to, they are my very good friends now. They said that, oh, you are a great listener, Radha, we would like to talk to you. And believe it or not, all those people have extended their help whenever I needed without being asked. So that's how it is. You need to listen to people. And the next thing is improve communication skills. Very, very important. Super important, rather, I would say. Um, what I studied was banking and computer science, and what I'm doing right now is nothing related to what I studied. And if you ask me, what is that one thing that is helping you survive or do what you really want, it's about my communication skills. So communication skills is absolutely important. And the next, positively visualizing. We human beings tend to we are naturally trained to think negative. We should consciously train ourselves to think positive. That's very difficult for us to think that we may fail is easy. To think that we would be super successful is very difficult, but you need to consciously do it over and over again. When we initially positively visualize, it may feel like, what am I thinking about? Am I thinking something that's going to happen in reality? Or am I thinking something like a movie? Or, you would have a lot of doubts like that. But no problem, fake it until you make it. So keep visualizing, and one day it's going to happen. So these are some of the lessons. Next, one most important thing is ignoring the criticisms. You really have to ignore. There's no other option, because at every single point of time, whenever I wanted to do something, um, if I had 100 people around, 99 of them were discouraging, probably one would be encouraging. And I always ignored all those 99 and listened to that one. So it's that simple. And ignoring criticism is not going to be easy. And when you ignore criticism, people will not applaud and say, "Oh, very good, you're so strong minded, excellent." Nobody is going to say that. So when you decide to ignore criticism, you still have to be more mentally stronger. You have to keep yourself mentally strong to face everything and still keep doing. At one point of time, what happens is, people who have been criticizing you and people who have told you that you're fit for nothing are going to feel proud. Oh, I know Radha very well. Later when you succeed, really, I have had all those experiences. So keeping in mind all these, if you are very clear with what you really want, then everything else is going to be easy.
Okay, ma'am. So that was really insightful to hear from you. And one thing I want to ask, that how important do you think is soft skills? Like right now, you explained all the important skills we need. So how would you rate it? And one thing that am really excited, I'm curious to know, as you said that you shared your ideas, and it also helped you to get insights from other people, like how one of your friends suggested that you should try something like that, and it helped you to achieve a world record. I mean, world record, being a world record holder is such a huge achievement in itself. So how important you think is sharing the ideas?
Okay. Sharing the ideas, according to me, is very important. But with whom you share
Hmm.
matters the most.
Okay, ma'am.
If you really think that someone is going to give you a positive feedback, encourage you, then yes, you can definitely share it with them. But if you think someone is going to discourage you or only try to detract you from your goals, then no. You don't share your goals or ideas with anyone and everyone around you.
Got
I'm
it,
very
ma'am.
choosy that way.
Okay,
I'm very,
ma'am.
very choosy that way.
Okay,
So
so that
you
was really
share
insightful.
with people who are positive.
Right. So it was very wonderful
And
interaction. And ma'am, I would like to thank you for coming and joining us at the platform of Let Us Lead. I hope this interview is going to be very, very helpful to all the people who are going to watch. And uh, at last, I just want that in a brief, please tell us about your programs so that we can wind up the session. Thank you, ma'am.
okay, the programs I do, four different kinds of programs at the moment. And number one is a 6 months e-learning course for on soft skills for students. Anyone from class 9 till PG, PhD level can take up that course, and that's in that course. It's we talk about goal setting, time management, how do you listen, how do you communicate, how do you present yourself, problem solving, decision making, and how do you build strong mental attitude. These are some of the things that we would discuss in that particular course. And the second one is about NLP basics. And that's a 5 months e-learning course where you talk about the various principles of NLP and how do you change behavior of people ethically, how do you improve your communication, how do you understand human behavior and change your communication accordingly. So these are some of the things that we would learn in NLP. And the third one is teaching excellence, where that's specifically for teaching community, how they can incorporate NLP in teaching so that both teaching and learning can be very effective and fun filled. Learning won't be a burden anymore. It's going to be fun filled when they incorporate this. So that's a teaching excellence course for about, not for about, exactly 180 days. That's only for teaching community. And the the fourth one that I'm presently doing is the art classes. That's the effect of doing the world record. So I do teach dot mandala art and lipan art. I have started doing so, not in a very big scale, only for people that I know in and around my home and all that. And there are people who are routing for online classes too. So I sometimes I do it online, but majorly art classes are offline only. So these are some of the courses that I do, um, and I'm really happy about doing all these courses because every time I do a course to someone, it means I'm changing their minds for better. So that gives me a lot of satisfaction.
Okay, so it was really wonderful interacting with you, ma'am, and we would love to interact with you once again. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, ma'am.